Welcome! Today we're diving into a roadmap for a journey, but not the kind with highways and rest stops. This is an inner journey. We're going to explore 5 really powerful paths that can lead you to some deeper, more meaningful personal growth. All right, let's get into it.
So let me ask you this. Does this feel familiar? Maybe you've been doing the work, you've got the basics down, but you just feel stuck, like you've hit a wall. You have this sense that there's something more out there, but you're not exactly sure where to go next.
Well, you should think of what we're doing here as your map. We are officially moving beyond that starting line, beyond basic mindfulness, and we're heading into the deeper territories of the self. These 5 landmarks we're about to cover, they're designed to guide you toward a real, authentic way of living.
Okay, so our first stop on this map is absolutely foundational. Because, let's be honest, to build something new and strong for the future, we often have to go back and make pace with our past. This is all about healing those deep-seated wounds that might still be running the show today.
So let's talk about this core idea here, the inner child. It's this concept that a lot of our reactions, our fears, and those behavioral patterns we have as adults, they aren't random, not at all. A lot of the time, they're actually echoes of past experiences from when we were young.
So where does healing even begin? It really starts with recognition, just noticing those patterns that keep showing up in your life. From there, you can start a gentle conversation with that younger part of yourself, maybe through things like journaling or meditation. And super important here, knowing when to get professional help isn't a sign of weakness, it's actually a huge step forward on this path.
This right here, this gets to the very heart of why this work is so important. On one side, you've got the weight of the past, those negative cycles, the emotional reactions, that constant feeling of being drained. And on the other side, that's the destination, breaking free, living authentically, and finding some real mental peace. It's the journey from being controlled by your past to being liberated by it.
Okay, let's move to our next landmark. You'll see how this all connects. Once we've started to heal our inner world, we're in a much better place to turn our focus to our outer world, and specifically, the art of human connection.
Here's a really crucial insight. Our happiness isn't some solo mission. Our well-being is so deeply and fundamentally tied to the quality of our relationships. Our family, our friends, our partners. Just think of healthy connections as a central pillar of a truly healthy life.
So, how do we actually build these connections? Well, it kind of boils down to these 3 key practices. First, it's about moving from just hearing words to actively listening. Then, it's about empathy, really trying to understand another person's world. And finally, and this is one we often skip, it's about setting healthy boundaries. That's how you protect your own energy while also respecting theirs.
All right, for our 3rd landmark, we're turning our attention back inward. After working on our past and our connections with others, it's time to fine-tune our connection with ourselves. We're talking about our internal compass.
And what we're really talking about is intuition. But let's be super clear. This isn't some kind of magical power. You can think of it more like a really powerful, non-logical form of intelligence. It's that quiet gut feeling that we all have, but that we've probably been taught to ignore. It's your own inner guide for the journey.
But how in the world do you tell intuition apart from its very loud cousin, fear? Learning to spot the difference is a total game changer. See, intuition is usually quiet, it's calm, it's like a gentle guide. Fear, on the other hand, it's loud, it's anxious, and you can literally feel it creating tension in your body. One feels like it's opening you up to possibility, the other feels like it's trying to lock you down.
I absolutely love this quote. It just sums it up perfectly. Think about it for a second. You are the driver of your own life. Intuition is your trusted co-pilot, quietly pointing the way. Fear? Fear is just a really loud passenger in the backseat, shouting and trying to grab the wheel. You get to decide who you listen to.
Moving on to our 4th landmark. With this one, we're going to broaden our perspective from our inner state to how we view the whole world and our place in it. This is all about cultivating what's called an abundance mindset.
Now this is so key. The idea of abundance here is not just about money. It's so much bigger and more holistic than that. It's the understanding that true richness in life is made up of so many different things. Our health, the time we have, the quality of our relationships, the opportunities we see around us.
This chart really helps visualize the point, doesn't it? When we think about a truly full life, it's a mix of all these vital elements, right? With things like our relationships and our health taking up the biggest shares. The big mindset shift is realizing you are already wealthy in so many ways. And gratitude. Gratitude is the key that unlocks that feeling. And that brings us to our final, and maybe our most profound, landmark on the map. This is where we zoom out to the widest possible perspective and start to embrace life's biggest questions. So our last landmark covers a field called thanatology, which is basically the study of death and loss. Now, I know that might sound really heavy, but the purpose is actually incredibly life-affirming. By looking at the finite nature of life, we can actually find a much deeper appreciation for the present and discover a meaning that goes beyond our day-to-day grind.
So how do we even approach a topic this big? Well, it's about engaging with it from a place of wisdom, not fear. This can mean learning to navigate grief with more intention, or getting curious about how other cultures view death, or simply taking some time to really reflect on what gives your own life a sense of purpose.
So as we look back at our map, this is so important to remember. Healing the past, mastering connection, trusting your intuition, cultivating abundance, and contemplating meaning. These are not 5 separate steps that you just check off a list. They're all interconnected territories on the beautiful, complex, and lifelong map of your personal growth. And that brings us to the end. We've laid out the map, we've explored the landmarks, so now, the only question that really matters is the one right there on your screen. Which one of these territories is calling to you right now? Where will your journey of deeper growth begin?